I'm Brittany Lewis with Forbes Breaking News. On the Senate floor Thursday, Senator Sheldon Whitehouse called for action against Russian oligarchs. He said that this is a bipartisan effort with Republican Senator Lindsey Graham. Whitehouse accused the oligarchs of, quote, aiding and abetting and giving comfort and aid to an enemy of our ally, Ukraine. Here's more from the Rhode Island Democrat.
I would say to Senator Blumenthal, absolutely yes, and to Senator Graham also yes, and thank you. Let me just give a quick overview as my part of this colloquy as to where we are. This really began with the Munich Security Conference, which Senator Graham and I led this year, the so-called McCain-Codell. And when we heard about the imminent invasion, we both became very ardent that we needed to get after Russia's oligarchs. First, because it was turning the oligarchs against Yanukovych that freed up Ukraine. And second, because these oligarchs in Russia are part and parcel of the way in which Putin has manipulated his country and accreted enormous hidden wealth to himself. So we knew that the oligarchs needed to be a target. We talked about it so relentlessly that whenever Secretary of State Blinken saw us coming, he would say, I know, oligarchs, I get it. Afterwards, the president came back and he took the Treasury's asset forfeiture section and the State Department's asset forfeiture section and the Department of Justice's asset forfeiture section and pulled them together into what he is calling the klepto-capture initiative. And that is a good thing that the president did. In this bill, there is money for it. We give $60 million to that enterprise, and we give another $67 million to the enterprise, and another $30 million to FinCEN, which is the group within Treasury that tracks dirty money. So that's about $100 million to support the klepto-capture operation. What they still need is authorities. And that's what our bill would give them. When we got back, Senator Graham, Senator Wicker, Senator Blumenthal, and myself drafted this bill. And a version of it has been passed in the House thanks to the leadership of Representative Tom Malinowski. And after that bill was filed, the Biden administration got together and they gave technical assistance to us from the Department of Justice as to what it was that they actually need to be more effective at going after these oligarchs, to seize, to sell, and to send to Ukraine the proceeds. So that is where we are right now. And one of the things that we need is to speed up the process. It can take forever to go through the process. We need to couch this process in the national security authorities of the president as much as possible, because this is primarily a national security issue. We need to speed up the process so that, for instance, you don't have to prove who the true beneficial owner is before you seize the yacht. You can go on intelligence reports. You can go on whistleblowers. And by the way, we want to reward whistleblowers. You remember the Ukrainian who sunk his boss's yacht? And he got arrested because he pulled the plug out of the yacht and sunk it? I'd rather have that guy come to the Department of Justice and say, I can tell you all about who owns this yacht. You don't have to worry about going through the Cypriot bank account, the Cayman Islands Shell Corporation, the Dakota Trust, wherever else this has been hidden. I can tell you that's the guy and be able to act based on that and have the authority to have the action what's called in rem by lawyers. You don't have to find the defendant. This is United States versus motor, vessel, whatever it's called, Scheherazade. And you give public notice and you invite the world to come and make whoever has a claim to that yacht to show that it's theirs and that it shouldn't be condemned, sold, and the proceeds go to Ukraine. Which is an interesting predicament for the oligarch who owns it, but has pretended he does not, who has hidden behind all these shells. He now has to come forward and say, actually, I own that yacht. Gotcha. Game over. Or he has to put in some phony to come and say, hey, I actually own that yacht. I may be a cellist, but I'm a billionaire cellist who happens to own that yacht. And we get to say, in a court of law, prove it. Let's have some real discovery. Let's have some testimony under oath. If this is your yacht, God bless you, you can have it. Prove it. We dare you. I think what's going to happen is a lot of these claims are going to be forfeit because they are, in fact, crooked. And we have every right and every need to go after these assets because Putin's attack on Ukraine is supported, aided, abetted, and given aid and comfort to by this retinue of slippery oligarchs around him who've protected him. You saw 29 of them showing up in that big office of his to have the little talk with him about how this was all going. We know who they are, and we know what their role is, and they are aiding and abetting and giving aid and comfort to an enemy of our ally Ukraine, as Senator Graham has pointed out, at the fulcrum in the world of our battle for freedom right now. If we can't act on this, shame on us. So we are going to continue. We are going to continue in bipartisan fashion. We're going to take our bill and we're going to add onto it the technical language from the Department of Justice that will specify the authorities that they need. And we're going to find a way to get this passed. If we can't do it by unanimous consent, which I hope we can, then perhaps on the NDA or some other must-pass piece of legislation. But this must be done. And if, to the Senator Blumenthal's question, will this make a difference? Some of these yachts cost $500 million. And there are dozens of them floating around. This is real money. And that's before you get to the fancy paintings. And before you get to the mansions in London. And before you get to the villas on the coast of Spain. We need to make it very expensive to be an oligarch supporting Putin. And we need to take the filthy pelf, the lucre that they stole from their country and put it to the benefit of the Ukrainian people. So I am delighted that Senator Wicker was an initial co-sponsor of this bill. I'm delighted that Senator Graham was an initial co-sponsor and Senator Blumenthal. And I'll close by saying that, you know, this Munich security delegation that we do every year has made a big difference on several occasions because we get together in bipartisan fashion. We're presented with real immediate problems in the world that we face when we go to that conference, and we craft bipartisan solutions in real time there, and then we come back and deploy them. And that's what was done here. We are going to see this through. We are going to get this right. Thank you, Senator Graham.
Jill, for a quick question.